substrate. Oh, wait a minute. Gate. We don't have it at this moment. String. Okay.
So is that one 2 in the upper left over there?
Yeah, I think so.
That's 2. So you're going source, drain,
Actually,
gate, right?
I'm gonna use this probe. This is.
That's the drain.
Yeah, this is 2.
This is the ring. The SMU1 is this one.
But it's not connected.
Sorry, this one.
Right.
Is that drain or source?
It's SMU1, so it's
One.
the ring.
But I mean, in your picture, I thought in your picture, I thought you were saying that this is source, drain, gate.
Yeah, so string. We don't use top
So I was just assuming that the probe on that side will do your source,
So
and that probe will be your drain, and this is your gate.
Yeah, but we don't use this at this moment.
Right,
so.
but in general, so that one over there would be source.
yeah.
So is that
Actually,
SMU2?
it's equivalent. Yes, it's so straight. So you mean
2 maybe?
change it to 2?
Source
And
1.
source is 1. Okay.
What do you mean by substrate?
That's the back gate.
Back
Okay.
it. And we don't use this part,
No.
so we don't have
No.
the matrix. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, all the others only apply if you have the substrate for the switch matrix. And that's just telling you don't have the switch matrix commands. And you say that's fine. I'm okay with it.
and we're done with that, and now we need to set up the.
So before we go too far, why don't you hit done? Why don't we make you, so like let's see what I was saying. Why don't we go make yourself a directory under WaveView data? So let's just show you how to like have your own, so just create a directory for you, and then we'll make sure that your project goes into there.
So training, under training.
No, I think you can make an individual.
Okay, under this.
Or under
Yeah,
either
yeah,
way. Yeah,
it's
wherever you
better.
like. And then just create a new folder for your stuff.
Okay.
But this is where you probably should all get together and come up with a structure of how you want to do your data. Like, do you want to have each of you have your own name, and then under your name have your
Name.
projects?
Oh, name.
You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
you can decide what the best structure is. So.
Yes, just name should be
Okay, so now you've got the folder. Let's go up to where it says directory profile back in WaveView. And click on edit.
Yeah.
And let's make a new directory profile for you.
So now it's under training, but we should change it.
Well, it's going to change when we do this, right? So say add. You're going to add a new one. And let's put your name. Is it Huamin or Huamin?
华明.
Mean?
Mm.
Mean, okay. I try to learn the right way. And then navigate to your directory.
Okay.
See WaveView data. There we go. So that's now the project root directory. So if you click down here and say set project path to root, now any of these files will be saved to that directory whenever the directory profile is your name. And the other one I would do is put on CAD and plot and tabular, those two as well. Yeah. And leave the others as they are, because those are your device types and tags.
Okay. CAD, plot.
All of them except device.
So except the last two. Okay. So that's good. So you're all set. Say done. Now there's your directory profile. So when you come out, as long as you put it to that, they will all automatically go there.
Okay.
So now
Okay. For example, if the user was change that, I just need to come here and.
Right. You can you can have it tied to you as a user, or you can just come on and go to that one. So you can go back. Yeah. Okay, so now that's the housekeeping part. So now let's go ahead and save your project, because we don't want to lose anything that we've done already. So you can say save project. And so now you can see it's going to use your directory profile and just give it a name in here. So now you can call that CNFET or CNTFET. Carbon nanotube. And then in the upper right, set all file names to the project name. To the upper right. There we go. And it will fill in those.
Okay.
The rest of them we don't have any data yet, so it's not ready to use them.
So we don't need to do anything about this.
No, just leave it right where it is. And now it will save those files. So as you build your project, you can save it. So if anything happened, you can just get it back easily. Like somehow, and when I corrupted that file, you know, it's nice that it was all saved, so I can pull those back. I'm still not sure how we did that. Okay, so now we've got, what have we got? We've got instrument, device, and connections.
Yes.
Now we can move on, and we did your directory profile. Now we can move on to wafer setup.
So I guess before that, should we align the sample or?
Is it aligned already, or?
No.
No. Okay. No, we don't have to. We can, you know, we can set this up first and then come back.
Okay. So wafer.
就你这片样品的名
Or you can call it CNT wafer, or you can call it.
CNT, your top gate. No, I think it's better use your whole thing name, you know. A top gate is prepared by which method or whatever, so you know it clearly.
And then
Okay,
the sample always with the date.
Now, in general, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Okay, the reason is that your wafer setup is going to
Without
live
anything-
beyond that wafer. Hopefully your wafer setup, unless you change your wafer, but your wafer, unless you change your layout, but say you were expecting to get the same setup out of the fab over time, you want it to be the generic name of what you're doing.
Okay.
And then your specific wafer lot, wafer number, you're going to put that in that title block that popped up. That's how that's going to be captured. So in general, this wants to be a little bit more generic, just describing the mask. So like at a large company, for instance, we were in like design mask, DMSs, design mask sets, and manufacturing mask sets, MMSs. So for us, DMS 23 might have been a 10 millimeter by 12 millimeter reticle. DMS 26 might have been 5 by 5, and so we could simply pull up the wafer setup according to the mask number, DMS 25, and it would have the right population. So does that make sense?
I got it. So can I remove this?
Yeah, you can remove that.
Okay. So.
I mean, it doesn't. It's only more for your, so that it makes it easy.
Yeah.
Once you start having a lot of things in here, you just want to make sure you have names that are that have some meaning, so you can find out why.
Okay. Here comes to the question. The diameter.
I'm going to try to make that 50.
Minimum.
They'll make it at least a little bit easier to see. And that automatically goes to 45.
Okay. And please
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Are we going to treat, I think we have to do the same thing. We have to treat all your FETs as if they're individual reticles. We weren't going to treat them as individual subsites, are we?
Radicals. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to do it like the other one. For now. until we
Summarizing
sort
is
that
also
out.
okay, actually, subsets, because I don't need the mapping, I guess. Once we can plot all the data on the same.
Well, I think the problem is we can't. Let's say this grouping here, we can't step and repeat to another grouping of that for that reason we talked about before.
Right.
So we were going to treat each of these devices as a reticle, basically.
Okay.
So our reticle size will basically be based on how far it is from the center of that pad to the center of that pad. Or, you know, do you have something like that?
So it's 415, right?
Oh, okay. So we can just make that. So our X will be 450. And then what is it in the Y direction?
200.
200?
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be nice if we could make the wafer size smaller, but
Yes.
okay. So that's okay. So that then what'll happen though is we have to move the home site to the reticle. So we'll put it right in the middle for now.
What's the meaning of that? I didn't get it.
Right now the home site, the reference position is at 3,3, which is off the wafer, and so we can't tell you to move the probes to a spot that's not on the wafer. So instead we have to
rotation.
No, just the just what we define as the reference position. You know, so like in nucleus, it's this thing here. We've defined some reference position. We're going to define it as this device for you. But right now in WaveView, it's totally off the wafer. It's that dot right down there in the bottom corner. So I'm just going to move it up to the center being roughly, what is it, 125 and 56. So I'm going to say 125 and 56. Okay. So see how...
rough number should be okay.
A rough number is okay, yeah.
Okay.
Just 57 because I can tell where it is. So see how it's right there in the center now?
Okay.
So now what will happen, when we go to add the subsite, so why don't you go ahead and add your subsite.
Yeah, it won't start alarming until they show this.
So, SINT subset.
Sure, yeah. It's based on CNT wafer. If you had multiple wafer setups, that's where you would have to put it. So that it's related. Now go to test plan. And move the zoom button, just click let go now. Oh, okay. There, okay. So, see, that's the reference that we were talking about.
Okay.
And if you hover the mouse over it, look down there, see it says 125.57.
Okay,
So that's where it is. So that's where I move the reference position to. So in your case, we're going to make the reference subsite. Right, so why don't you go ahead and pick, see in the nucleus, we're going to make this the reference one. Okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is do 1, 2, 3, 4. I panned the wrong way. Pan rate. Okay, there we go. Pan rate just defines how fast it goes back and forth.
Okay.
So these are your 20 devices right here.
Yes.
Well, no, we're fine.
Right, just like that.
Okay.
Excuse me, is this kind of counting, that is the RC number in our report, right?
Yes.
The final report number. So I think if we clicked in the sweeping sequence, probably when you generate your report, you can find easily which one is which one later.
Oh, so it follows the order when you click the...
I see it follows the order. If you go like this way, and then go this way, so it is directly reverse to the scan direction.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
So
Well,
it's probably easier for you to
some of
find
that depends on how you set it up.
Ah,
So
oh,
that's
you
back here in
said
the wafer setup.
that's a
Remember?
horizontal or
We
something,
said,
right?
where is the wafer origin? And we said low left. So this is 0, 0 here.
okay.
And everything increases positively from
I
there.
see.
We could have said that.
That's how to name
We could have
the-
said lower left, upper right. So it really depends on where you define.
Okay.
Some companies define the origin in the upper left for some reason.
Okay, okay.
And then everything is negative or positive. Some companies, they define it up here and everything goes positive in a downward direction. So
Probably even in the top part is easier to find the
But
device.
I guess it doesn't matter. It's just how you name it.
yeah,
Okay.
it is. As long as you're consistent, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Some companies though, like when we look at this test plan here, some companies though, in each one of these, they'll have a row column number printed right in the reticle, and so they want to make sure that they're definitely lined up and
I
aligned.
see, I see.
You don't have any markings on your wafer that say that that's row 122, column 57. So
Okay, is there anything I need to change?
not really. Those are all just extra things that you can eventually do, but basically you just need the test plan and then that's it.
Okay,
So you can hit done. And then why don't you save the project again. And you can also save it right from these here too. Right from there. Nope, right there, save. Yep. And the reason you have two yellow blocks